Oh my god, people. Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I'm doing a Star Trek video here, and this is inspired by a video I saw on YouTube from a channel called We Travel by Night. They do really interesting what-if scenarios, or they check for accuracies and, let's draw 3D models of the stuff that we've seen in science fiction shows, especially a lot of Star Trek. They love doing Star Trek. And they had one about 6 months ago that I watched that I thought, this is what's wrong with fandom. Now, so the video, I believe, is called, Does the Enterprise Shuttle Bay Cause a Problem? Is it a problem? And the makers of the YouTube channel themselves are the first people to admit, hey, we're just doing this for giggles. This is a what if. This is kind of making a business case, for lack of a better description. But what they're doing is actually very, very analogous to something I'm noticing a lot of fans of various franchises are kind of grasping onto and holding tight to, like it's written in the Bible of the show. And I just feel like this is something that I would like to describe and discuss. So, in this particular episode about the Enterprise Shuttle Bay, they go into how, according to various resources, the Shuttle Bay on the original Enterprise was informed by, the production crew and all that kind of stuff. It should be about the size of a football field. And with various bits of measurements, the makers of the video that We Fly by Night mentioned that means it's like 360 feet from front to back, and looking at the model, looking at the shuttlecraft as it lands in, that doesn't seem plausible. There are various sources that have kind of measured the Enterprise in different ways, and they figure, no, there's no way that thing's 360 feet. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. And that's fine. Hey, we're talking about how a production crew on a television show was trying to spitball, okay, here's roughly what this is, here's roughly what that is, and later on, models are made, camera angles are shot, and if somebody like this YouTube channel decides, wait a minute, where's engineering in that case? Or, wait a minute, what direction is the ship facing when we see this particular angle? And you begin to unravel the fact that in production of anything, stuff falls through the cracks. They didn't have this written down in stone. And again, We Travel by Night is not, they're not claiming that any of this stuff is official and was cast in stone. But I do find lately other shows are really starting to use these little brushstrokes from the production crew that are not meant to be in any way mapped out and laid down, canonically. A lot of shows are now, and their fandoms are starting to apply things as this is the way it was always meant to be. So, to cut a very short version, and I highly recommend, check out We Travel by Night's video about the Enterprise Shuttle Bay. Very well thought out, very nice graphics to show, okay, well, if it's this long, how's that going to happen? Or, according to some episodes, there's 4 shuttlecraft aboard the Enterprise. How can you fit 4 of them in such a confined space? Well, maybe they were on a little elevator lift system like you see on aircraft carriers. Yeah, but then how does it get around? Stuff like that. And the real clincher for me was they mentioned in the episode Journey to Babel, we see Kirk and McCoy and Spock are about to welcome Sarek and his wife, and the doors open, and you see the shuttlecraft from the side and a big wall behind it. Where is that wall? What is that? Are we looking from the side of the shuttle bay and the shuttle is now facing where it just came in? Or was it on a turntable and now it's facing out? Are we on the side of the Enterprise? Or are we at the back of the Enterprise or the back of the shuttle bay looking forward? In which case, where is this big wall that is behind the shuttlecraft? Is that a door? What is that? And I will guarantee you, in the 60s, making the series, the production people, the people who are like throwing all this stuff together. There's a line of script that says the shuttle pulls in and Sarek walks out and Kirk and Spock greet him, etc. And the people who are actually like making this, okay, we've got our Galileo shuttle from that episode standing by. We can use that. We'll just put it in the studio against like a big wall and we'll film it and that'll be fine and that'll cover it. Again, especially back in those days, you must have been saying to any carpentry group, any production crowd in Desilu or Paramount Studios in the time saying, I need you to make a spaceship shuttle bay. And they'd be like, spaceship, right? Like a Buck Rogers thing. I don't really know. Can we just not use a wall and et cetera, et cetera. But if you analyze it, especially the way they do in We Travel by Night, where is this wall? This doesn't make any sense. We're confused now as the audience. What are we looking at? I can't quite place where we are in the ship. And that's my problem with this. Again, We Travel by Night is not, they are the first to say this is not an actual analysis of what the show is all about. But I do see so many times other shows that are declaring, oh man, wasn't it really a long bit of foresight that that particular image appeared in that old movie? And now we know what that's all about. Wow, they were really smart back then. No, they weren't. That was probably just some bit of decoration that somebody in the production crew thought, oh, this will look cool. And that's all that it was meant to be. And I have discussed at length other science fiction shows where things have just occurred during production and some people have declared, oh no, that was always meant to be there. I'm being very mysterious and hiding all the secret code like the Da Vinci Code into my movie. You know, that's just the way the filming went, but now you want to look so smart that you are more than happy to accept people's praise of your genius. Anyway, but back to the Star Trek angle here. It's very telling that there's this desire, and we're all passionate about what we're into, so I get that, but it's very telling that people want to inject, how was this possible? If we measure this, if we rearrange that, oh, this is the way that was always meant to be. No, that's not. It was a TV show made in a time, especially back in the 60s, where it was like, no, it's a shuttlecraft. It's big. I don't know how big. It's just big. And now Sarek has pulled aboard, and yeah, there's a wall behind him. I don't know where we are. It's not important. We need our shot to have Kirk, Spock, and McCoy on either side of the door, so when the door opens and we see the shuttle in the distance and Sarek walks out, it's setting up a scene. It's a little bit... We Travel by Night also talks about how the bridge was in like various official production drawings and stuff. There was always this idea that, oh yeah, the bridge is actually rotated like 30 degrees because the elevator door is supposed to be at the very back of the saucer top bridge area. So in order for that to work, for it to be over Kirk's shoulder, then they must have rotated the whole scat. And it's like, no. The making of the show, you wanted to have characters walk in off to the side of the camera so that it would make sense. It would inform the audience, oh, somebody's now here, and Kirk has to talk to them. It's not that the whole bridge was rotated a certain degree. It's nuts. And I see that, again, like the examples I've just given. I've seen that in so many production shows. It's just like, no. Would you stop trying to overanalyze this stuff? That's not what was meant to be. Anyway, just thought I'd pop aboard the Enterprise here, have a little discussion about We Travel by Night's video. It's very well thought out, and I really love what they've done. And they are awesome. And that video is awesome. But to the fan base that starts to apply this as like cast in stone, manna from heaven, this is what the original intent of the artist always was, I say, you're wrong. However, let's see what people reply back to me on with this video. So please feel free to comment, and we'll see how the discussion goes. All right, well, that's enough of that. Helm, get us out of here as fast as possible, warp you can. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.